most of the time, the people are kind of stuck in that cycle of thinking, find your purpose in life. That I believe personally that purpose is Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another chill chat where we chill and chat about difficult topics. Today, I am excited to be bringing to you guys this topic. This topic has been in my mind since last night, and it will not leave. Well, actually, I would say a little bit earlier in the day yesterday, I was sitting having a conversation with a few ladies, and the conversation got real, y'all. It was just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have recorded the conversation. It was such a blessing to me, and I believe it was a blessing to them as well. But today, I will be talking on the topic of you were created with purpose. Yo, that's deep. A lot of people struggle, really struggle with the thought of, why am I so different? Where do I fit into this world? Why do I seem to be an outcast? They struggle with all these different thoughts, and they think that it's literally because of an identity crisis. And in some cases it is. Sometimes people literally, they have a hard time identifying themselves as an individual. But I come to find out that most of the time, the people are kind of stuck in that cycle of thinking, why am I so different? Why don't I fit in? Is because they haven't tapped into or haven't been able to identify their life's purpose. Those two go hand in hand. If I can't identify what I was designed for, what my purpose was for, then of course I'm going to be wondering, why don't I fit in anywhere? Why does it seem like everything I do is wrong? Or why does it seem like every road I take is the wrong direction? Like, you're always going to find yourself wondering, what path should I be on? What direction should I be taking? What should I be doing in my life? And really, the only way that you can effectively define that question or answer that question is to identify what your life purpose is. This is amazing to me because I think back to the Bible and how in the very beginning in the book of Genesis, it talks about how we were created in the image of God. We were literally designed from the image of God. And it talks about how God literally formed Adam from the dust of the ground. Not dirt, not nothing like that, but from the dust of the ground. The smallest thing, the most insignificant thing, the thing that many people instantly try to wipe away out their house. Doing deep cleaning, you go and you see all that dust and you're like, man, that was disgusting. Yes, the dust of the ground, he created Adam, and he breathed life into him, and he became a living soul. When I think about that, that's deep all in itself. The fact that I can look at me, look at myself, and from the original design of Adam, because we are all created the same, and see God, like, that is absolutely amazing. I was made in the image of God. God thought so highly of me to make me in his image. But then I started to think, I was like, okay, so even when Adam was born, he was given particular instructions. He was given a job duty. And when God seen that he was alone, he decided that he needed a helpmate. And that's when he took the rib out of the side of Adam and he created Eve. But it was still of the original creation of the image of him. So we are all created the same physically, the way our body is made up. Even those with disabilities sometimes they struggle with the idea as well as, my body don't look like everybody else, and that may be true. But even if you go to a doctor, they're going to put even their disability, they're going to compare it to the original design of what the body was. So we were all created the same, but here's the thing, we were all designed differently. I say that because when you think of the human body just in general, you see that it works as a unit. Everything works as a unit. God designed it perfectly for our eyes to be what they're supposed to be, our ears to be what they're supposed to be, our mouths, legs, all that. It was designed with an incredible, miraculous design. Sometimes we can't even we can't figure it out. We can't figure it out. I'll put it that way. Even doctors, that's what's called practicing. We attempt to try to figure out the design of God, and we really can't. But we were all designed differently. So when I think of the human body, and I think about how the human body functions as one unit, but the difference that each part of my body does to help make that unit. Like if my eyes were doing what my ears should be doing, it would be an imbalance. If my feet was doing what my son was supposed to be doing, it was an imbalance. So even though my body was designed, to function as a unit, without its individual functions, my body would not function. And the Bible describes it the same, as the church. The church, we are one body. But through our different ministries, through the different gifts that God have given us, we have our own part, to make that actual function happen. Think about a regular church service. If you go to a church service and you can look around and you can pick out all the different ministries that are there. You have the singing ministry, you have the kitchen ministry, you have the ministers and the preachers and the evangelists and the choir. All of those things make up the body of the church. They make up the function of the church. And it is the same in life today. We are all a part of one world. We divide ourselves all the time. We make it our mission to divide ourselves, whether it be physically or in our thinking, with our beliefs, with different religions, with different jobs, employment. We divide ourselves all the time. But we are one world. One world. But the world has many different functions. It has many different ways of functioning. We have different countries. We have different languages. Just because it's different don't mean that we're not one world. So when you're thinking about you as an individual, you're not lost in the world. You're not alone in the world. You may just be on that path where you have to find out, be able to identify the purpose that you're supposed to be living. So instead of always asking, why am I so different? Why do I seem to do everything wrong and things like that? Maybe try asking, what was I designed? What purpose was I designed to feel? Because that's the most important thing. Because you will essentially be lost. You will feel lost in everything that you do until you are able to really find your purpose in life. That I believe personally that purpose is God designed. I believe that God literally created each person with thought in mind. I'm reminded back to a story in the Bible where it talks about the blind man. And everyone was coming to his parents and saying, what sin did you commit? What did you do wrong for your son to be born blind? They even questioned the son, the blind man. What did you do? What sin did you commit? Why are you blind? And they were looking in confusion, like, we haven't done anything. We just been living our lives. We don't know why he was born the way he was born or why the situation is the way that it is. But we have not committed any sin, not any that we know of that could bring about this type of consequence. Jesus shows up and he was like, they did no wrong. They did no sin. I created him this way for glory for today. He was designed this way for my glory today. Jesus began to, he spit in the dirt on the ground. and he put it on the blind man's eyes, and instantly the blind man could see. And Jesus gained followers that day. It was the miracle that was destined for that particular time that caused people's hearts to change, that caused people to follow Christ. You know, it's just amazing, like when you think about just how intentional God was about you and your individual creation. I also think about how, you know, there's a lot of talk, you know, about sin and there being babies born out of wedlock. And yes, God word stands true. He does not condone sin or anything like that. But I remember my pastor said, I remember it very clearly because I was struggling with this actually, just because of, you know, being raised under very strict teaching, which I truly appreciate. But I can say, just being honest, that I did grow up being very judgmental because I felt as if you didn't believe what I grew up believing, because I believe it to be so true, that you were in the wrong. So if someone presented a situation to me that I didn't necessarily agree with, I will automatically judge. And I was convicted for that. I was extremely convicted for when I came into the knowledge of how judgmental I was. I remember running into my pastor's office crying, literally crying, like, I cannot believe like the way that I am, the way that I think. I've been so judgmental. I'm living in sin. And he was like, whoa, slow down. What is going on? I said, I'm just realizing, you know, that I understand that I was taught a certain way, and I'm not saying that way was wrong, but how I project that has been so wrong. It took me a whole year, literally a whole year of praying and fasting to release that judgmental spirit. And with this subject in particular, it was for such a time because of a situation that happened in my family. You know, so I truly thank God for the revelation that he gave me in the time that he gave it to me. But anyway, my pastor, he was preaching one day and he was talking about how life is only formed in the mind of God. Only God can create a life and take a life. We like to give so much credit to the devil and say the devil did this and the devil did that and the devil took him out of here and blah, blah. And that is just incorrect. The devil has no power over a soul. Only God does. The devil has influence. He can influence someone in their decision makings, and that can put them in a situation that may cause death. You know, but the devil has no power. He has no ranking to even be considered in the decision making of what happens to a soul. And that right there stood out to me so much because, yes, a child may have been the product of sin, but the child isn't the sin. That life was, for some reason, whatever reason it was, God designed for that child to exist, for that soul to be a living soul. And when I say that gave me a whole, I mean, it literally just transformed my mind, literally. And it was just the fact that, you know, we cannot always see the purpose of someone's life. What we like to do is we like to judge people's lives. We can sit there and be like, hey, I see what you're doing. What you doing ain't right. I would never do nothing like that. What were you thinking? We like to tear people down. I mean, tear them down to the bare minimum. Make them feel like the lowest thing standing because they made a mistake or they did something or they said something or believed in something that you so happen not to agree with. How dare we? How dare we judge someone? We should be in the position now to where we are willing to be open and we are willing to be helpers of each other, supporters of each other, builders of each other. There is nothing that we have done in this world that we've done alone. A lot of people literally walk around and say, I did this on my own. I built my own self up. I raised my own self up. Even if that's what you believe to be true, I beg to differ, because somewhere out there you receive support, whether it was mental support, emotional support, physical support, health support. there was help that came from somewhere. There was strength that came from somewhere. Everything that you have came from somewhere. So you cannot completely say that you did it on your own, or at least I challenge you to think differently about that. But this is just part one. I'm going to be following up with the part two because there is so many things to say on this topic. But I want you to know today, I want to encourage you in your thinking, for you to really believe that yes, you were designed with a purpose. And it ain't the purpose of the person that's sitting next to you, or the one that's sitting behind you, or the one that's sitting beside you, or the one that's trying to persuade you into something else. I challenge you to find your own individual purpose. Really sit down with yourself and think about the challenge that you have. Think about the skills that you have. God designed you with purpose. He only gave you the things that you could use. We pick up other things along the way. Through education, through school, through people talking to us, through conversation, through YouTube, through social media. We take on different personalities and stuff sometimes. But I challenge you to really sit down and do some self-reflection and start asking yourself, and if you have a power, please ask your higher power. What did you give me? What do I have to work with? A lot of you guys have skills with hair, nails, speaking abilities, the ability to observe and absorb information. It's meant so many different things that you can sit down and you can start seeing, okay, I have a talent here, I have a skill here. This is something that I do well. I wonder why I have this. And you will start to see patterns. For a long time, I had a lot of negative self-talk towards myself because I was stuck in that cycle of thinking, why am I this way? Why am I that way? Why does it seem like I'm an outcast? I struggled with that myself for years. And then I was finally able to, and not with everything, but with some things, I'm finally able to see that, hey, my passiveness was really helpful in that situation. That was one thing that I really got on myself for, being passive. But I was able to look and see that there were certain situations that if I wasn't passive in, God would have got the glory. So once again, this is just part one. I'll be bringing you a part two because I really want us to be able to dive deep and be able to start identifying our life purpose. Why are we created? Why did God design me to be the way that I am? So we can start accepting ourselves and living out our purpose. Man, there is nothing like self-love, self-confidence, finding your place in the world. It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing when you find it. Absolutely beautiful thing. And I pray that this is just being a seed that's being planted for you to really sit down with yourself, really sit down with God and start asking some questions. What am I supposed to be doing? What can I do today, to get on the right road that I'm supposed to be on? Anyway, welcome back to another Chill Chat conversation. I hope that it was a blessing to you, and I hope that something in this video will cause you to think differently. If there's something that stood out to you in this video, please don't be afraid to put it in the comment section. Like I said, I will be doing a part two. So if there's any information that you want particular in the next video, please leave that in the comment section below. If there is something, a thought that came to your mind during the video, please drop that in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with all your family and your friends. I love you guys already. Like, it has been a blessing for me these last couple of days, doing these videos. So I really pray that it's a blessing to you. And until next time, I pray that you have a blessed day.